Welcome back to Moon Harbor Heroes. Today's issue is Blockade, Issue 6, Last Words. On the cover, Amber, Max, Al, Felix, and Squire, all out of costume, stand in an Astron prison, holding hands. Watching them through the tinted glass is the shadowy figure of the Astron General Cyborg. In the bottom corner, there's a silver embossed logo in bold letters, Blockade. We turn the page and our story begins. We are in prison cells, and we started with Ryder and Al in a prison cell together, and Amber and Max in a prison cell together. You all appear in the cells, and it feels like some time has passed. It's not an immediate wake up, it's like there's that like searing pain and that like red burst of light, and then as you wake up, the four of you are in the cells. And Amber and Max wake up first. Specifically, I think Max wakes up first. And then, Amber, you're going to wake up a second later. So, Max, you recognize these cells. You've been in one of these before, haven't you?
Yeah, I believe so. Is Squire here?
Oh, yeah, I broke you out that one time.
I'm going to say yes, Squire did come with you.
Okay.
So, Max, you wake up first. Squire is still, like, unconscious next to you. And Amber is, like, knocked out next to you. Max, what do you want to do?
I think we get probably the panel of Max, like, frantically checking on Squire, maybe while Amber's waking up in the background.
Perfect. Squire's okay. She wakes up, she kind of like shudders herself awake, and she gives you like a thumbs up and then kind of like lays her head back down. And she's kind of like, she's not awake yet, but she's there. She's fine. And Amber wakes up in the background. Amber, you wake up to see Max checking on Squire, and you're in a cell that looks familiar. So what do you want to do?
I think we get a panel where like she sits up, and then I feel like we should get a panel of just like quiet. They're not talking. It's kind of awkward.
Yeah, I like that.
And I think like eventually like their eyes are going to meet.
Max just kind of like very reluctantly is like, hey, sorry about snapping at you earlier. Things have just been really intense.
You're fine. You were right. Did he have to blow himself up?
I don't know. We have to make it worth it though. We can't let this keep going.
Yeah, we have to end it for him. It's just, I miss Alan.
I think that's sharing a weakness or vulnerability.
It sure is.
Yeah, I think that is too. Amber, can you read me that team move? What happens when you share a weakness or vulnerability?
Ask them if they would defend you against those who mistrust you. If they say yes, clear condition and shift savior up and any other label down. If they say no, mark a condition and shift danger up and any other label down.
I think in response to the I miss Alan, if you don't want to like explicitly ask, Max just kind of looks down at his feet for a moment, then looks up at Amber and gets like a very determined look and goes, we can do this. I'm by your side 100%. He may have been strong, but together we can do this.
I feel like Amber's going to smile and just be like, yeah, it's been us since the beginning. We got this.
If you want to go ahead and like follow through, I believe that was Max saying that he would defend you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that feels right. You can go ahead and filling out that track. I think we get a panel of the two of you like smiling at each other. Do you like make any gesture? Do you like hold hands or like shake or hug, or do you just like sit like across from each other?
I think Max starts raising his hand for a high five, but then just puts it down and goes in for a hug. It's been a stressful day.
Yeah, I think like they're just gonna hug it out for like I feel like a decent amount of time. Like they need some love. It's been rough.
Maybe after like a panel of the hug, Squire joins in.
Hell yeah.
I was about to say, we get a panel of the two of you hugging, and then all of a sudden we look down and we see Squire hugging both of your legs.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh god.
I think that that's going to be good enough to count as a comfort or support for each other. But let's start with Max comforting or supporting Amber.
Okay. I'm still trying to decide which label to shift down.
Cool.
I think I'll do danger. Get it down from 3 for the first time, and damn. There's your one good roll of the day.
Wait, I have influence over you again, right? Did I get that back? It's not going to change the result, but...
You took influence. I gave influence to you, but you did not give influence to me. You took that away.
But if I still have influence over you, cool.
Yeah.
So on a hit, they hear you. They can mark potential, clear condition, or shift labels if they open up to you. On a 10+, you can also add a team to the pool or clear condition yourself.
I'm in clear condition.
I would. That sounds right.
Oh, that should have actually been at a -2, but it's still a 10. So we good.
Cool. What are you clearing?
I cleared Afraid.
Great.
I feel like that conversation just bolstered me.
Yeah, they needed that.
So we're going to get a panel of the outside of the two cells. We've established they're not like next to each other, so we can see like Al and Ryder kind of crumpled in a ball on the ground, still not awake all the way yet. And we see Max, Squire, and Amber hugging in their cell. And we're seeing a shot down the hall. And then we cut over and we get the image of Brian at a computer. The last thing that happened was your robot self-destructed, and then you were kind of out of it for the end of that last thing. So explain the process of you trying to like locate a robot to use to like get back in the fight.
I was thinking my house is filling up with this mysterious gas, and I got to get the heck out of there. So I'm thinking I'm not looking for a robot.
Cool. So we get the scene of you like exiting your house. Is your house is it a house or is it an apartment? What does it look like?
It's a high-level apartment. I was thinking I would like take a hang glider out the window or something.
Cool. Do you have a hang glider?
I have arbitrary inventions.
Perfect. So you hang glide out your window. Describe what that looks like.
I pick up this little needle-shaped thing and open up the window, and the holding it up, some wings sprout out of the sides, and looks like a little sort of glider thing.
Great. As you're gliding down through the city, all over the city, there are like red flashes, similar to what you saw when the general and the troops kind of arrived there. And there's a lot of little red like pings of light all over the city. And underneath you, it's chaos. People are running, people are screaming, and you are kind of hang gliding down. Are you aiming for an alley? Are you aiming for a street? Where are you trying to land?
My goal is to go somewhere in the vicinity of the last place that I know where everyone was.
Cool. So you're heading towards like the school, towards that like shopping center by the school there.
Right.
Cool. So you're hang gliding over the city. It's going to be pretty easy for you to get there. I'm going to have you land a couple blocks away from it, so you don't quite land right there. But from where you are as you're about to land, you can see that lot, which had a ton of people, is now abandoned. Your team is all gone. What do you want to do? You land a couple blocks away.
Well, I'm going to have to go up and investigate.
As you're running, you run past an electronics store, and everything is turned off, but one of the TVs turns on. There's a face that pops up that you don't recognize. Readers will recognize that face as Anagram. Anagram, your face pops up on this TV screen. What do you want to say as Brian is running past you?
So a pre-recorded message starts playing, and you hear Anagram call out, Asimov. If I'm right, you should be here right about now? Okay, so this is kind of hard to explain, but there's some bad stuff coming, and so you should have an app on your phone, and that's going to let you connect to me. I don't know why, but I think your friends might need me now, or need you now.
I slowly draw out my phone, wondering how anybody managed to get on it to see if this app's there.
Sure enough, when you open up your phone, there's a little icon at the end of your app's like list. It looks like it was recently downloaded. That's just like an emoji of that same person you just saw waving at you. Big grin and a wave with like an electronic hand, like a robot hand. And the figure is smiling at you, and the app is there.
I have a name for the app.
What is the app called?
Animov.
Animov.
Oh boy. There's a panel of me just staring at it, which, by the way, I'm now wearing. Readers of Asimov's comics might recognize on his face, he's wearing what looks like it used to be a toy rider mask, but some of the pieces have been cut off.
I love it.
The quickest thing he could make before leaving his house. But yeah, just he's staring at it and very hesitantly taps it.
Great, it pops open, and immediately you see a split screen. Half of it is the same face, but like in smaller scale on the bottom of your phone. And the top half looks like a camera attached to the outside of a ship in some capacity. You can't really see anything other than like the fact that there's some clouds outside and the sky. It's clearly like above the clouds. Anagram, your face pops up on the bottom. What do you say?
So I think Anagram has a moment of surprise and then smiles and goes, "Oh, okay, cool. You're here. I just dropped off Myriad, I think is what he's calling himself. I'm not sure.
Whoa! Hold up. Are you talking?
Yeah. So, I know you need a robot. I know that you need to help your team. So use my body. I'm just gonna take a back seat." And I think the face screen blinks off, and you just get the full screen camera.
And on the sides of the full screen camera are some really general controls. Things like move forward, things like turn, very like simple video gamey stuff. And then in the top there are like other buttons to like have drop down menus and show more things to pop up. We get the panel of the robot kind of looking around, and we see through the clouds just like that we are floating above Moon Harbor. And you can see like the panel down, and then the robot looks up, and in the reflection of the black exterior surface of this ship, we see Anagram's face looking back at the camera. And we're going to cut it there for a second, and we're going to jump over to Ryder slowly waking up in his cell there. Ryder, you're waking up first. Al is next to you. Ryder, what do you do as you wake up?
Oh, God. I look over my body. I guess you're going to see a panel of him looking over his body and making sure all of his limbs are still attached. He looks over at Al. Is Al awake?
Al's like groaning and starting to wake up. Before you go too far, Max, do you still have his sword?
He can't. It dematerialized at the end of the last issue.
Cool.
When
couldn't
I
remember.
lost my power, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, Al is starting to like wake up and come to life.
Where are we?
Your guess is as good as mine. Ryder's going to stand up and examine the room and walk towards what he believes to be... Is there a window or that I can see out of in this room?
Yeah, so the walls are made of like a transparent, or the wall, the exterior wall is made of like a transparent black glass leading out to the hallway. And then the other walls are made of like a solid black material.
All right, Ryder's going to walk up to the black glass window and take a look around. And then he's going to look at his hands, and you're going to see like the armor start to materialize, but then it's going to vanish. So it'd be like a panel of it, like of the phase where, we showed a panel in the last issue where he was phasing in and out. It's going to look very similar to that, but the armor doesn't completely materialize. And he's going to look at Al and go, I think we're in trouble.
As he turns to say that, it's going to show Al just looking down at the cochlear implant, like fiddling with it, trying to see if it's damaged at all. So Al didn't hear a word that was just said. Al is wholly focused on making sure his cochlear implant's not completely destroyed.
Is it destroyed? Your choice.
It's a little rough for wear, but it'll do the job for now.
Cool. Al didn't hear anything you just said, Ryder.
I'm gonna notice that he's not hearing me, I guess, and I'm gonna look back at the glass and I want to punch it.
Great. You punch it and your hand hurts and you kind of like fall back a little bit. This is solid. And for some reason it feels like you can't connect to your powers at all. So you punched it with your like, you are stronger than the average human, but no superpowers to enhance that. So you just punched the glass and it didn't do anything.
Yay! Ow! Son of a...
Can we hear through these?
No.
Okay.
If you're paying any attention, you can probably see like him punch the glass and then fall backwards cursing. But I don't know if you're paying attention. That's up to you or not.
Does Ryder curse like a sailor?
Not particularly, no.
Okay, never mind. I had an idea, but never mind.
I feel like Ryder only started cursing after hanging out with Faye more. That's the impression I've always gotten.
Yep. Hence why his is one of the very few blocks in the issues that anytime he curses, it's still asterisk symboled out.
Well,
I want that to be a quirk of his specifically.
I would like to think, noticing a slight vibration from him hitting and then falling on his ass, I'm going to look up, stick the cochlear implant back onto the magnet behind my ear, and then stand up, tap him on the shoulder, be like, watch this. And then try and like open a portal on the other side of the glass for us to walk through.
Solid. You have a knife that you do that with, right? Like a little sword?
A samurai sword, correct.
You have a samurai sword. Cool. You swing the samurai sword and nothing happens.
I'm gonna try, like, just keep trying, like, just keep cutting.
Yeah, you just keep swinging. It solidly swings.
Samurai, I think our powers are nullified here.
So, real quick, not in character. If that's the case, I'm not in costume.
Yeah, you're not in costume.
I just have a sword.
Nice.
Perfect. And by that standard, I don't think that Ryder's in costume either.
No, Ryder's been out of costume since he took the attack. Took
that's
his own
true.
attack.
So yeah, neither of you are in costume right now.
I'm gonna look up at him, understand that he said that, look down at my hands, and kind of realize, like, oh shit, he's right. Like, I'm not neon blue currently.
Can we get a panel of Amber and Max, like, looking and seeing the two of them out of costume?
Yep.
Also, I love how like we're totally costumed. Just 'cause we like.
Yup.
I think the only difference would be Amber's wouldn't light up because she powers that.
Yeah, so Amber's still in her costume, but not lit up. Max, when you see that they're out of costume, what do you do?
I'm kind of looking like I don't think I have any reason to actually know Felix, but like, hey, is that? I recognize that kid. Doesn't he go to school with us? Kind of pointing at Blue Samurai.
I think Amber's gonna like squint and lean forward and be like, "Ow!" Like, yeah, I know that guy.
Al and Felix, do you have anything you want to try to accomplish while you're here?
Ryder's actually going to go and sit down, and he's going to sit down and realize that he's actually still pretty hurt because his powers are not working. His regeneration is not working, so he's actually still pretty hurt because he got hurt before the teleportation. So he's going to sit down nursing his. I'm going to say he broke a rib whenever he fell. So he sits down and grabs his ribs like, oh, might as well save your energy. Oh, he can't get out of here. What's your name?
I'm gonna start just cutting at the glass with my sword, but I'm gonna be like, my name is Blue Samurai, and just like through exertion, just hitting this glass with my sword.
I'm going to have you go ahead and roll to directly engage a threat. No, roll to unleash your powers, sorry.
Unleash powers? Okay.
Plus freak. On a 7 to 9, you can either mark a condition or I'll tell you how the effect is unstable or temporary.
Unstable or temporary.
Great. So yeah, you are hitting the glass and a long crack appears in it. Like you hit it and suddenly there's like one long crack splitting up it. And then an alarm starts to sound.
I like to imagine there's just a panel of me like going from really stern and kind of pissed to just eyes really wide, like, oh no, what have I done? And then look back at Ryder and be like, or Felix and be like, what do?
And as you say that, we're going to cut away from you two. And we're going to cut over to Carl. Or are you Myriad right now?
I'm Myriad right now.
Great. So Myriad, you're in the ventilation, like the air vents. And as you're flying through the air vents, navigating, suddenly an alarm starts blaring around you. It doesn't seem like you did anything to trigger it, but it is loud and kind of blaring all over.
I kind of want to get the lay of the lands, so...
If you want to roll to assess the situation, you could.
Yeah, but I think I got a thing for that.
Oh, cool.
Elemental awareness.
Yeah, I'm gonna use it for once. Okay, so I'm going to spend one burn and mark a condition to open up my mind to the world. I can ask one question, and the question is, who is on the ship that Carl knows?
You have met everyone in the party. So Blue Samurai, Machina, Rascal King, and Ryder. You met the general, so the general's on the ship. And then also on the outside of the ship, Anagram is still out there.
Okay, so I get the lay of the land by so the panel would be that Carl just there's a bunch of ants all over. Like maybe there's a thing where in the previous panels where the people in the jails were talking, you can already see like some ants in the background and in the corner here and there. And Carl's been spreading out over the ship, and now he knows where everybody is. And
Great, I love that.
yeah, and I'm probably gonna hang out near the room where I'm not gonna make myself visible yet, but I'm going to place most of like the core of my hive mind near the cell where Samurai and Ryder are.
Great. How much of are you covering like the whole ship in general? Are you like spread out around the whole thing, or a fair bit of it at least?
Okay, so yeah, I would be still pretty spread out, but Car always has a core of intelligence, and the rest is more like vague instructions. And the core would be, so most of the ants would be near Rider and Samurai, but then there would be pockets of ants spread around the ship.
Perfect. One thing you see, and we see through you, is characters familiar to the readers running towards the source of the alarm. So we see Lynx, Outlet, Boost, Glacier, Seamstress, Lens, Anarchist, and a few others, but they're kind of a little bit further back that we can't really see who they are defined, running towards the source of the alarm.
I think the Carl's bit is going to end with him sending images of all the enemies approaching to the people on the team.
Go ahead and roll to unleash your powers to connect with the team. If you have influence on any of them, give a +1 to all of them.
Wow. I am going to say that everybody just gets a weird screamy rambly noise in their head right now.
Can I modify that? Can it be like the buzzes?
Yeah, sure. You can do whatever.
I think it's like that like cicada scream that like you hear in the summertime. Like everyone just gets that in their minds at the same time. So you get that cicada scream sound in all of your heads. And then we're gonna jump over to Brian Animov, as it were. Animov, you are on the outside of the building.
I would like to say that right now she is probably staring at the floor and walking into walls as Brian is cursing, "Isn't there an invert y-axis mode?"
I love it.
I love that.
I think his primary focus right now is to pilot this robot into the ship and see what's going on.
Great. So you're on the like landing. We see you kind of like walking around and like bumping into things. But we do get a moment where you see one of the door panels. You have not been on a ship before, so you don't recognize these door panels. But the door panels are essentially like, they look like doors, but they don't have knobs. And next to them is a small like black glass panel that when you touch them, they are warm to the touch. Readers familiar with the series know that they have eyes behind them. You now can see the panel in front of you.
I make the robot reach over an arm and poke it.
Because you are still rolling to interact, or you're still interacting, go ahead and roll to unleash your powers to see what it looks like, to see if you can like get into that panel.
Woo!
Spectacular. Yeah, so you have your hand out and pilot it to put its hand on the panel to like start accessing it, and the hand just goes straight through the panel, smashes in, and we hear this like hideous shriek of pain. Because, again, as you don't know, but readers know, the ships are alive. And there's this hideous, piercing shriek of pain. It's so loud that are you wearing headphones, or is it you just, like, looking at your phone?
I'm just looking at my phone.
Is it on speaker, or do you have any sound on it, or is it just the video?
I've got speakers on.
Can I suggest a panel for that?
Please.
We could, like, cut to Brian on the bus, controlling on the phone, and just this, like, hideous screech, and everyone on the bus just staring.
That works for me. Were you riding a bus to get over there, or how are you getting over here?
Yeah, we could say I'm riding a bus.
Great. Yeah, Moon Harbor buses are notoriously, like, reliable. Even in, like, the face of, like, catastrophe, they still run on a very regulated schedule. This is a city with good infrastructure, kids. So,
I'm
yeah,
just picturing oxygen masks in front of everyone.
Exactly, I love that. And we get that, like, hideous, like, piercing scream. Go ahead and roll to take a powerful blow for me.
Oh, boy.
All right, so on a 10+, you can choose one. Remove yourself from the situation, flee, pass out, etc. Lose control of yourself or your powers in a terrible way, or 2 options from the 7 to 9 list.
So it doesn't seem like I really can pick 2 from the 7 to 9 list, because only one makes sense there. So I guess I have to say lose control of yourself or your powers in a terrible way.
We get the moment of the hand, like, pushing through the panel, and then something in the hand, like, connects to the mainframe, and suddenly your phone is just lit up and alive with a lot of information and, like, camera feeds and all sorts of stuff from the ship, including the, like, video of your friends on this ship where the alarm is going off. You only see the one cell, so you only see Al and Felix, but you see the alarm going off in that cell, and your phone kind of starts, like, literally, like, vibrating, like, over the top vibrating, and notification after notification is coming in, and your phone is rapidly getting taken over by this tech to the point where suddenly, like, it looks like it's like almost back hacking Anagram, and then your phone completely shuts off.
I just put it back in my pocket and just sit down with this look of shock on my face.
At that moment, you do arrive at the bus stop you would be getting off at to like get to the pinged location.
I am dashing out, probably making the bus driver angry.
Yeah, I don't think you like ask them to stop there. I think you just like run up and like push through the open doors and kind of just like run off the bus. I don't think it's actually a bus stop. I think you're like getting off in the middle of the street. As you like get off the bus, we get a panel of you looking up, and we can see through the clouds this enormous Astron spaceship above the heart of the city. And we're gonna jump over to Max and Amber. Max and Amber, there's an alarm going off now.
Can we absolutely get a panel where they're just like, oh, hey, we didn't cause that one for once.
Yes, it's just a good old high five.
Yep. And I don't know if Amber has noticed that her powers aren't working. So I think she's gonna try to. Is there any access to like is she able to? I don't know. You said the door was glass, so she can't reach and try to get the panel.
Yeah, you can't like touch the panel from here. You might be able to hack it if you try to like access it through your Wi-Fi, but when you go,
But my Wi-Fi wouldn't be working.
Yep, that's what I was gonna say. When you go to try
Yep.
that, work.
I guess she's gonna like try to like touch the door and like just realize like, wait a second, we can't do this.
I think we get a panel of like you turning to tell Max that, and over your shoulder, Outlet comes into frame. And Outlet is standing over your shoulder. The way the lights are hitting, Outlet's face is kind of obscured by shadow, but you can very clearly tell that it's Outlet.
So wait, so does Max see this?
Yes, you see Outlet coming into the frame.
Whereas I would not because I'm turning to look at Max.
Yep.
Upon seeing this, Max like spins his back to the door and kind of like steps backward, so he's standing next to Amber, both of them with their backs to the glass. He goes, so Saber's here? I feel like they'll rescue us, but maybe we should take our chances with the aliens.
Oh shit. Oh god. Do you think they know that City Hall was us?
I hope not.
There's a thud on the outside of the glass, and you turn and see that Boost is there, and Boost has kicked the glass. It hasn't done any damage yet, but Boost has solidly kicked it.
Can we get like a flashback panel of maybe like 2 panels with Boost telling us to not engage when we were trying to go find Queen Bee, and then one of when I don't remember how it was phrased, and he was like something about like you guys having connections to the MMM, because that's absolutely what is going through Amber's head when she sees Boost.
Yeah, I think we got that panel of the, I was going to say sepia toned, but it's just kind of like, it looks different than the rest of the Blockade issues of those 2 like flashback panels. And I think we get the moment of you 2 like making eye contact and like gulping.
And then I think we probably just step away from the glass panel.
Do you look at the glass? You still like looking away from the glass?
Probably looking at it at this point, personally.
Yeah, like backed away enough, but yeah, we're facing.
And at that moment, Lynx runs past and goes and faces the cell across from you where where Felix and Al are. Lynx and also Glacier. And they are standing there very still like the other 2 are. Like everyone's kind of very still, just standing there kind of rigid and facing these panels. Lens and Anarchist are running in as well, so is Seamstress, but they're not in just yet. We're going to jump over to Felix and Al, and you 2 are standing as you would both recognize Glacier. Glacier is the head of Saber, kind of not necessarily a politician, but like a prominent figure in the city, and is standing there looking. You can't see her eyes yet. And next to her is missing Lynx, who's another like prominent superhero in the city, very much works for Saber. Notably not next to her is Sassy, her Lynx, who's normally with her. It's just her this time. And you can't see either of their eyes. Their whole faces are kind of in shadow.
You know, in anime, when faces are in shadow, that means they're bad guys.
Oh, I'm aware.
All right, well, I would like to think that like because of all of the noise with the like the cicada screaming in my ear and then the alarm, I'm just going to take the cochlear implant off and just shove it in a pocket because it's starting to get to the point where I can't see straight. And like I imagine there's like a panel of me just like clutching my head from the ringing of the cochlear implant like in my head, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm just going to rip it off and then just shove it in a pocket because I'm sick of it.
The two of you are just kind of staring as the two heroes are staring you down. Gil, we're going to jump over to you. You can see this hallway from where you are, and the amulet speaks in your head. And the amulet's like, wait, something's wrong again. This doesn't feel right.
I know, but we're good here in the air ducts. We'll just sit and wait.
And then the amulet's like, no, look at them. Look at them closer. Where you are with the ants and such, you can get a better view of their eyes. Their eyes are not the eyes that you would recognize from like them on the news. Their eyes are black and covered in like gray clouds. Very, very similar to the mounts and also the mages.
Do I have any reason to suspect that I'm not safe right now?
Nope, you're fine. Your friends are probably not safe.
Seemingly out of nowhere, Samurai looks to his lap and sees a jar of mayonnaise. And written on the jar of mayonnaise is the words "Show me to Felix."
Perfect. Do you like drop that in from a panel, or is that like a...
Yeah, I sneak that in. He has no clue. He just suddenly turns around and there's a jar of mayonnaise that says "Show me to Felix."
Fantastic. Al, you see that, and then we're going to cut away from you, and we're going to go to Anagram. Anagram, your robot was like being piloted by Brian, and then suddenly Brian lost all control, and you were being hacked. And it felt like there was like voices inside your head, people probing around inside your brain. Anagram, we're going to treat that as if you failed the move from earlier, the mage move that I had sent last week. So they can get information about any of your teammates. One kind of secret or one piece of information about any teammate. Who are they getting information about?
I think they know Carl's here.
Oh, cool. So yeah, they all get alerted to Myriad's presence, and then you feel you lose control of your own body. And the panel opens, and they walk Anagram inside. And Anagram starts walking down the hallway. As you walk down the hallway, a figure steps out from the shadows, and you are standing face to face with the sword. The sword's eyes are black and covered in those same gray clouds, and the sword turns and leads you down the hallway towards where you know your friends are. And we're going to cut back to Al. You have just seen that jar of mayonnaise that just appeared that says "Show me to Felix."
I'm just gonna clap my hands together, and I'm gonna say, "Felix, look!" Like to try and like wake him up with the clap, and then point at the jar.
What are you? Oh, Carl's here. Wait, he can use his powers? Does that mean? And I want to look down at my buckler and see if my armor is rematerializing yet.
Because of the crack from where Al slammed the hilt of his sword into the glass, it's not fully rematerialized, but like bits and pieces are starting to slowly come back. And then Glacier steps forward, puts her hand on the panel, and the panel slides open. As the panel slides open, two more figures step into the doorframe. Lighthammer and Faye, their eyes similarly are black and covered in clouds. And Faye raises her hand and just telekinetically like shoves you up against the back wall.
Both of us?
Right now, just focusing on Ryder. The panel is open, so your powers are back, but Ryder, you were like pushed against the back wall and held there.
Faye, what are you doing?
Lighthammer walks up to you and holds the sword underneath your chin, and then just smiles this like unnaturally large smile, almost face-splitting smile.
Moon Harbor Heroes is produced by Anthony Sheets and TP Huth and edited by Anthony Sheets. Anthony can be found on Twitter at Icy New Year or at icynewyear.com. T is the host of Incubator on Air, a new play podcast available on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and Google Play. They can be found at T Huth Playwright on Twitter or TP Huth 94 on Instagram. This issue was GM'd by T Huth. Asimov is played by EXPHP. You probably won't find him at It's EXPHP on Twitter, but it's worth a try. Blue Samurai is played by William Hendry. You can find him on Twitter at RockoutWill321 or on Steam as Cypress_Gronum. Carl is played by Simon Meskins. You can find him on Twitter as @Gilberecki. Machina is played by Elliot Peterson. She can be found at Elliot Yelin on Instagram. Rascal King is played by me, Anthony Sheets. Ryder Typhon is played by Kaido Kane. Kaido is a Twitch personality and loves their 3 mischievous cats. You can find them at The Versian on Twitter and as Kaido Kane on twitch.tv. The music for this issue is Curse of the Scarab by Kevin MacLeod. The license and a link to his website can be found in the show notes. Our logo was designed by Beautiful Beasties. She can be found on Instagram at beastly.doodles or on Patreon at patreon.com/beautifulbeasties. If you want to get a hold of us, email us at moonharborheroes@gmail.com or on Twitter at moonharborcast. If you enjoyed this issue, please consider leaving us a review on iTunes and recommending it to friends. Word of mouth is really the best way for us to bring these stories to more people. And thanks for helping us save the world. We'll see you next issue.